Hello there and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video I'll finally talk to you about movies with a list of 10 films that every cinephile should have watched by now. I know I could talk for hours about these movies, but since this is going to be a video on YouTube, I'm just going to limit myself to speaking about what I love about these movies and why I think you should watch them too. The first film recommendation I'll give you is Alfred Hitchcock's 1946 Notorious. I want to include Notorious in this list because it's one of my favorite films by Hitchcock. The script is just sensational. As a director, Hitchcock proved to be the master of the genre of mystery and thriller. I adore how Hitchcock plays with the camera. Generally, his cinematography tends to divert the audience towards some specific elements in the frame. If we take Notorious, for instance, the use of lighting as well, all the dullions, the camera movements, the tracking shots are just a way to emphasize and highlight the sense of tension and mystery. And finally, I need to agree with both Hitchcock and Truffaut on what they said about this movie, which is that one of the reasons why it's a masterpiece is that there is a great villain in it. Let's move on to another great film by master director Federico Fellini. The movie I'm talking about is VITELLONI from 1953. It's a comedy drama. I find the movie just hilarious. I mean, it's full of incredible gigs, but at the same time is very deep. The human nature. We see these characters who are a bunch of lazy guys in northern Italy in this provincial town, and they kind of entertain themselves with just leisure activities and music, parties, women, and that all conveys a sense of emptiness in their lives. So at one point they all understand that they need to take their own path and that they hold each other from growing up. One of the reasons why I think this movie is fantastic is that it's full of spontaneous and genuine biographical elements by Fellini. There is a sense of nostalgia and melancholy in this movie, and they sweeten the film. I mean, as we see these characters, the decisions they make, we kind of feel pity for them, though we hate them a couple of minutes later. If you think that 1917 is a masterpiece, just wait till you see this one. Stanley Kubrick's Path of Glory is just a sensational movie. You can see what a creative and innovative filmmaker he was through the camera shots, the camera movements. We see a marvelous Kirk Douglas play the character of the protagonist. It's just fabulous to see how Kubrick explores the anti-war themes like the military bigotry or the military hierarchy. These themes anticipate what will later be Dr. Strangelove or Full Metal Jacket. So you don't want to miss it for this reason as well if you've seen those movies. This film proves that Kubrick was a visionary guy. The inner conflict in the characters and the whole thing about war and the story, it just knocks you off your feet. Martin Scorsese is unquestionably regarded as one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. The movie that made him gain success is the one that I'm about to tell you, and it's Mean Streets, his third film. One of the reasons why I think this film is great is the way Scorsese filmed it alongside with the script, with the stories of all these gangsters, punks, criminals in the streets of Little Italy, which is where he was raised. That gives you an idea of how he approached violence as a filmmaker and what evolves into Taxi Driver a few years later, and later on with the gangster movies like Goodfellas and Casino. Scorsese has always been interested in exploring themes like faith, religion, and violence. And it's something that he already tried to do with his first feature film, which is Who's That Knocking at My Door? And it also stars Harvey Keitel, who's the main character of Mean Streets, along with Robert De Niro. The next movie I'll talk about is Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation. This movie was made after the great success for The Godfather, and Coppola proved once again that he was a great filmmaker. Coppola also quoted the movie Blow Up by Michelangelo Antonioni from 1966 as a key reference to this film. The film tells the story of a surveillance expert who's hired to keep track of a young couple, and later on he discovers that they are in danger and he wants to help them. The story is very fascinating, especially when it comes to the inner conflict of the main character. This great film tells the story of a very deep human connection, and if it turned out to be a beautiful film, is also because of the great cast and performances, as well as the visuals of the film. At this point, I'll move on to a completely different type of film, and I'm talking about The Blues Brothers by John Landis. You want to watch this movie, especially if you're a sucker for blues music, like I am. We have two incredible actors for comedy, and I'm talking about John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, alongside with a great cast of musicians and singers like Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, or James Brown, and many others. The story is quite simple and funny. It's about these two brothers, the Blues Brothers, who need to collect a certain amount of money, I think it was $5,000, and give it to the orphanage they both grew up in. I love to see a vibrant and lively Chicago in the background, this lively people. If I were to use a word to describe this movie, it would probably be colorful. For many reasons, because we see a bunch of vibrations from different sides, and it's just marvelous. Scanners is another special cult movie. It was written and directed by David Cronenberg, who's the master of the body horror genre, which features bodily transformation, infection, technology, and all of that. This film is sensational for many reasons. The story is compelling and interesting. The film is incredibly done with a lot of palpable visual effects, meaning that if you were on set, you could actually feel them, you could actually see them and touch them. And this is probably one of the reasons why you'd want to watch some of David Cronenberg films, alongside with some cool themes that he explores several times. Paris, Texas is highly regarded as Wim Wenders' best film. One of the reasons why I love this film is that it's a road movie, meaning that the story is incredibly told throughout a road trip, and Wim Wenders is great, is a master of this tool. Another incredible aspect of this film is the cinematography. I just loved the way the sky and the desert were filmed, or the cities like Houston or Los Angeles as well. The acting in this film is just fantastic. We see an incredible Harry Dean Stanton alongside with a marvelous cast who pull out some incredible performances. This film tells a very sweet story, and you couldn't call yourself a cinephile if you haven't seen it yet. It's time for me to talk about a more recent film, and that is The Master by Paul Thomas Anderson. PTA is unquestionably one of the most interesting storytellers of our time, and The Master can't help us claim that. The story is just powerful and strong. It's very hard to say something on the script because it's flawless, let alone the cinematography, which makes the whole film look just as gorgeous, or the performances by actors like Joaquin Phoenix or Philip Seymour Hoffman that make the film look just incredibly perfect. I loved how PTA explored themes like the fight with religion, the cult movement. There are subjects, that he already explored previously in There Will Be Blood, which is another masterpiece of his. So here we are with my final film recommendation for today. Inside Llewyn Davis by the Coen brothers certainly reflects the unique style of storytelling by this master directors. Their unique style of storytelling, I would say, is quite based on the characters that they write. Their qualities, their weaknesses. So I would say that the two main elements that drive the Coen brothers stories are the characters that they write, alongside with the incidents of luck and bad luck. As a matter of fact, we see the character of Llewyn Davis sort of haunted by bad luck, and the way he reacts to it adds some humor to the story and the whole drama. Another reason why I love this film is, once again, the cinematography. I just can't help it, but it's a stunning beauty and it's gorgeous to look at. So you don't want to miss this one as well. So that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I can't wait to be back with a new one or new film suggestions. In the meantime, you can subscribe, like, comment, and please yourself with my YouTube channel. So see you on the next video, which I'll upload this upcoming Friday. Ciao!